Today on Once Upon a Time, we talk about the final battle with Emma, Black Fairy's demise, and flash forward. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, shoot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. We are here doing the Once Upon a Time Season 6 finale, episodes 21 and 22. The final battle.
Ooh.
It's the finale, you guys.
I can't believe it.
It's
I can't
here.
believe it.
Literally, like, it feels like the season just started, and it's
No,
crazy.
it's
like,
over.
it's over.
No,
and, like,
it's over.
the stories that we know and love that we've watched for so many seasons is closed. I mean, there
Yeah.
are a few stories that are going on, but for next season, but it's just crazy. It really is.
It is crazy. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. No, Tiana cannot be with us tonight, unfortunately. But you can follow me on Twitter at SeraphiniTV. You can follow Tiana at the Tiana Hobson everywhere. And if you guys are tuning into the video aspect, I have my Operation Princess t-shirt from Karen David's campaign, her Princess campaign that sponsors and supports Alzheimer's research.
Yes.
So go check it out. Karen, this is for you. And joining me, I have...
What is up, guys? It's Dakota T Jones, and you can find me on all social media at Mr. Dakota T Jones.
And you can find me on Twitter at Nasta and on Instagram at AllieGirl.
All right. Now, this was a really fun finale. There's a lot of mixed feelings. Some people are loving it. Some people are not liking it. But I feel that our panel, I don't want to speak for all of us, are kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was a really good episode. I know why they put it into 1-2 hour special, but I feel like it would have been better to break it up because I felt like there was so much that they put in to where my mind couldn't really wrap around it as fast as it was going. So I thought that they did a great job though, and I won't say much about it, but the ending, not the very, very ending, but the time before where everyone was like coming together, that whole thing was everything I've been wanting to see for all these seasons, all 6 seasons.
I completely agree. I think, like, after watching this season finale, I will say I'm happy, but, like, still have so many questions. And I was even, like, as I was watching it, still had so many different questions about, like, the Black Fairy and whatnot. But I do agree with you on the point that it was so many different storylines to make sure you were connecting all the pieces in the right direction. So, I think that was the only thing that I would say it could have been different. But other than that, I think that the tie-up of everything was very neat and clean, and I really like that. And I like that. I mean, we'll get into it later, but I think the tie-up was great.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, a lot of stories ended pretty cleanly, and it posed a lot of questions for next season.
Yeah.
And, we all know what happened this past week, which we will definitely get to. But I'm not quite sure, like, how some stories ended, if you liked how it was tied up. But let's get there. Let's start with the beginning. We have we saw in the last episode, which, fun musical episode, the curse finally hits the town. And Henry wakes up in Storybrooke, but it's controlled by Madame Mayor Fiona instead of Regina.
Oh my
I
gosh.
hated that.
I liked it.
Did you?
I thought it was really neat because I was thinking, oh, okay, like everyone's gonna be there, everyone's just not gonna remember, and of course the one like who has control over Henry is Fiona. And I thought that it was great to see her like out of her Black Fairy outfit, and like she was so put together, and like she really embodied what Regina was when she was the evil queen, like before she turned good, like the evil mayor. Like
Right.
I thought it was like a parallel, and I thought they did it very well at putting it together, and I liked seeing her in that role briefly.
See, I hated her more in this character than I did as like the Black Fairy, just because I knew how she's more manipulative than Regina. Like even when Regina was a little evil, she like the way she went about doing, I guess, the evil stuff was even still a little bit nicer than the way that the Black Fairy went about things.
Yeah.
She just frustrated me the whole time. Like, oh, like stop believing her.
It was
She's such a great
frustrating.
actress, though.
She's great.
Oh, yeah.
It was frustrating to see Fiona go through all the same motions as Regina did, and like, posing as Henry's adopted mother and being the boss of everyone. I was like, you're trying to be Regina, but you're not.
Yeah,
no one can replace Regina in that way. So I didn't like her for that aspect. I was like, no, like it was just too unbelievable to be anything that we could actually like follow. But it was interesting how she put herself into a position of power to take away Emma's belief in all these realms and the stories. What did you ever really think that this final battle, quote unquote, was more of the mental game as like the final battle of actually truly believing all these stories?
No, and when they said that, I was kind of like, what a clever way to like think about a final battle. Because obviously when we hear battle, we automatically think the swords are coming out, people are going to be in the streets of Storybrooke, like it's going to be mayhem. But I thought it was very interesting the way that they spun this battle.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting, like, and it was kind of nice to see that it wasn't like people were getting hurt, which was kind of nice to kind of have it more of like
like physically harmed, but their lives were being destroyed.
Yeah, but like it was kind of nice to see a different spin on it.
Yeah.
It was really intriguing too.
I know, because I was thinking, wow, like this is the final battle, like her giving up all hope and like just totally not believing and like leaving, like that's how we're gonna solve this. I thought it was really cool too, because most shows it's always like this big like sword fight, and we did get that, but I liked how they did it as well.
Yeah, I mean it was smart how they played it up, like, because we saw the whole first arc of the season was that there's that showdown and that's how Emma's gonna die with the sword. So you're immediately ingrained with this thought it's gonna be a sword fight kind of battle. But I think it was smart because I think that's just like an underlying theme throughout all these seasons. Like, are these stories true?
Right.
And I think that was the end belief of Emma in season 1. Like, it took her the whole season to finally truly start believing.
Right.
And then they kind of brought it back for this episode.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was smart. It kind of ties back. I felt like this whole episode tied back to all of season 1.
Definitely. And it was kind of a nice full circle, getting, like, obviously we're going to get into it later, but it was nice full circle for us as the audience members to kind of get a closure on the characters that we've been watching for, like, the past 6 seasons.
I know it was crazy, because it's like, okay, we get closure, but then some people move on, and we get to see parts of people's lives, so it's like, I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's going to be interesting.
Did you like the aspect of having Emma in an asylum?
Yeah, I did. I like that. I mean, they haven't really done that before, and as soon as I saw her
Not in
painting,
this show, but in other shows.
In other shows, yeah.
See, like, I'm just thinking, Buffy, Charmed, Smallville, all these shows have done episodes where, like, they're in an asylum and they think they're crazy because everything that they've been through is, like...
Pretty Little Liars as well.
Well, you know, it is a recurring theme in, like, all... If you watch a lot of television like we do, it's not a new story.
But seeing her, like, sitting there painting, like, as soon as I saw her painting, I'm like, asylum. I knew it. I was
At first, I thought she was like in jail.
Sanitarium.
Yeah, I thought it was like kind of like she was like in jail or something. I just couldn't figure it out like right off the bat. But it was just kind of hard to see Emma in that state, because even when Henry did find her, she still had a little bit more umph to her character, because she still had like, she was resilient to like everything. She's like, I don't have any emotions. Like, her job was just kind of emotionless as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to see her totally like, she was like stripped of all feelings and emotions, which was kind of hard to watch too.
Yeah, seeing her, even though she didn't believe at this point, seeing her painting the swan, it was like, you still know who you are. Like, you just have to find it.
Tap into
You just gotta believe.
I love the new Operation Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, that was...
You need to throw in another crazy operation name. I enjoyed it, but what did you think of Henry trying to like get Emma back to sanity more so?
I thought that he did a great job, and I love how he just takes under his wing. He's like, I'm the only one who remembers, like, I need to be there for my family, and even seeing himself like ready to sacrifice himself, it just shows that he really is there, and he loves his family, and he only wants the greater good to happen. So seeing everything he was trying to do, I was just like, wow. Like, I was happy, because we haven't seen him as in many episodes, I guess, a lot recently. So being more of like a Henry-based episode, I was excited about that.
Yeah, it was nice to see him at the forefront trying to do what he's been doing this whole series so far, is like bringing everybody into like who they should be and making sure they do believe and all of that. But also with Henry, I just... oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. But overall, like, I think he did a great job of like trying to bring it out, but it was tricky, because he was like playing mind games with Emma as well to make sure that he could get what he wanted out of this believing, to make sure he could get his family together.
Did you ever really think that Fiona was going to convince, quote unquote, insane Emma to burn the book?
No, I I
was
thought
shocked.
she was gonna actually, this probably, like, I don't know why my brain went there, but I thought she was gonna grab the book out of the fire when she saw Hook's picture.
face,
I
yeah.
thought she was just gonna, like, and then I thought personally that that's when she would get her power back and, like, the magic would come. But that's not what happened. She let it
No.
burn all the way, and I did not see that coming.
No, because in a lot of shows, I was excited about this because in a lot of shows, what they'll do is they'll have, like, they're getting ready to drop it, and they're like, no, never mind, it's okay, I'm gonna do what's right. And I did like her being like, I give up, like, I don't believe in this, and she throws it away, and it was real, and it was something that a lot of shows don't do. Usually they stop the last second.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was kind of interesting because at that point I was like, what? I think I wrote down, like, what happens now? Like, do the people in the
I
other
know.
realms die?
That's what I
just
thought. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because this kind of, all these stories parallel each other and going on at the same time. But we had everyone else in Enchanted Forest. Let's talk about them now. Because when Emma was burning the book, you can see how it's actually affecting them.
Yeah.
The big smoke is coming in. That was really slow.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Like, the book burns pretty fast, but yet they're still all alive. Like,
They were
I
able
was
to
like,
save
hold
Charming and Hook and then head back to the castle and still have enough time to then defeat whatever was happening or all get together.
they were able to climb a beanstalk,
and
play a little bit
1,000 foot-
up in the giant land, and then come back down, we're pretty much fall from that beanstalk, and still be alive.
Yeah. Which it was 1,000 feet. Like, that's gonna, like, when they were like, it's 1,000 feet, that's gonna take a
good
while.
distance.
And then it, like, all of that could happen. Really
I
quick,
know.
before we move on, though, about the burning of the book, I was kind of confused because, once she burned it and she left and life kind of went on for them in the Storybrooke world, it was kind of confusing to me because then I started wondering what was the purpose of the book. If it was burned, they were still able to live in the other realm.
It's just the power of love, Allie.
So it was
Get on
like,
our
but
level. I'm
Well,
kidding.
I think though, like the book represents the tangible evidence of
Okay.
that these characters are alive, these realms are alive, and it's also the internal belief that you have to believe that these stories are and these characters are true.
Gotcha.
So the book was like, oh, physically you can like
Right.
destroy them, but mentally, and they'll always be in your hearts, not to be too dramatic.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I think that's what Fiona was playing off of Emma's, like, you have to believe it inside.
Yeah, and
if
Right.
these stories are
it
true.
was so funny though because I was like, I don't know why, but I thought of Mean Girls. I'm like, oh, Burn Book. It's the new Burn Book. You know what I mean? I thought that was a little clever, but
Yeah, it was. No, but sorry, back to the other realm. I didn't mean to get us off track. I just was confused about that. I was like asking, I was like, wait, if it gets burned and
I
it's still
know.
like it's still able to like let the story play
It's
out.
Well,
fun
it
seeing
almost took them
everybody
out.
like together in the Enchanted Forest. Like they all came from different realms, and
Zelena
like they're
was
just
there.
stuck in their own place.
did Zelena have
Yeah.
her powers back at this point?
I think so.
And I think she had the ability because she was in a different realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
She probably had the ability because she had the hat, the Mad Hatter's hat.
Yeah.
One of the portals, and we see that Oz is gone,
Yeah.
but everyone just gets transported to like Regina's castle, which I loved.
I love
Yeah.
that castle.
Yeah.
And I love that Regina and like Regina's evil side. I love that they're like friends now.
Oh my
It's really
gosh.
entertaining to watch and just like know that like there's no evil queen at all anymore.
It
like
bothers me. I'm just like, can we like form back into one person and get it over with already? Because like I liked seeing them get along and everything, and it was sweet and everything. But I was like, okay, now this is weird. It's like we have two Reginas running around.
I
No,
guess
but it's actually great because I think the first arc, completely explained why Regina is now two people basically the same, some mixed and like some good, some bad. But had they not had done that the first half of the season, we wouldn't have had a Regina in this finale that helped saved everyone.
yeah, that's true.
That's true.
So it was a big half arc setup, a half a season arc setup.
Just like that
just for
shaky,
this moment.
just like that shaky hand thing lasted a whole freaking season and an episode because it was the finale of 5. So we've seen that handshaky thing for too long.
Yeah.
But it's over.
What I will say about the Regina thing, the only thing that makes me sad is that the original good Regina still never got her happy ending with Robin, and that bothers me because I'm like, she loved him so much, and then like the other Regina gets her happy ending, which like I just
Well, we saw the other Regina who so gracefully and nobly sacrificed herself
yeah.
to pulled off the curse. I
know.
love this. I was like, yeah, you go, girl.
I was like, girl, I don't think this is gonna work, considering the whole book is in fire, and you're just gonna be like,
it's okay. It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that
It's
counts.
what she did, because evil Regina back in season 1 would have never done this. She'd be like, I'm gonna poof myself out, and y'all can die on your own.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now this mixed Regina of good and evil. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that she was selfless enough to stay and
That's true.
sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
So I love this, and especially the moment where we saw Robin in the we didn't really see Robin, but we saw the arrow with the engagement ring. New
yeah.
adventure.
I
Oh.
liked that. That was sweet.
I'm happy that like
was sweet.
I was like,
some version of Robin and Regina are together. Some
Yeah.
version.
okay, I'm
I mean,
happy that
it's
you're
not
happy.
with our good Regina, which I would have been way more
Right.
ideal, obviously. But the fact that there's a Robin and Regina out there.
I'm happy that you're happy, because like this was something that we talked about the time before, and I know it was like hitting you pretty hard. You were like, "Are you kidding me?" Like the other one gets him, but I'm happy that you have found peace and
Yeah,
moving on.
it took a while, but I'm happy that some version
form.
of Regina gets it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like,
And
okay.
I will say, like, that gave me goosebumps. I was so happy. It was so cute.
Gave you a goosebump.
Yeah, I was like, you guys are so cute. I was like, someone was like, you look really sad. I'm like, I'm sad of happiness. Like, I
Yeah.
was like almost crying.
That happened to me one time in this episode later on, and I was shocked because, I mean, like, this show I've been watching for so long, and I've never been moved to so much emotion as I did here at the closer to the end, and I was like, wow, like, this show really has been a huge part of our lives.
It has. I mean, we've watched these characters for 6 seasons now, and the
Yeah.
fact that we know some of them are leaving, we'll get to news.
Yeah.
But it's sad. I mean, actually, before we get to the sad part, it was good to see all them all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
We even got Jasmine and Aladdin in this one. I loved how Jasmine just called her
Yeah.
her carpet.
Carpet.
Right?
Yeah, she's like, let's
They
do this.
better be in the spinoff, Jasmine and Aladdin.
They definitely have to be.
I think there should be.
They have to be.
I mean, there was an original spin-off to Once Upon a Time, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland that dealt a lot with Agrabah, actually.
Yeah.
But we didn't get Jasmine.
I will really
That's so
quick.
weird.
Really quick, I just want everybody in the chat to know we are reading your comments and everything. Sorry, they're just going so fast, so I am reading them. We will
Hi,
shout you
guys.
guys out.
What's
Thank you
up?
so much for being there. But yeah, everybody's has great thoughts.
Oh,
Great
you
thoughts.
want to say some stuff?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. So, someone said there isn't an evil Regina anymore. I would like for Regina to maybe be the only one, but I wish Hyde was still around for Regina. He wasn't
Oh.
evil.
Hyde, that was an interesting storyline.
Yeah, that was really
That's the one. That's
interesting.
one of the things that I was not thinking was going to happen in the show. Bringing Hyde, Jekyll and Hyde. Didn't think that was going to be a part of the show. So that was interesting. I did like it though. I thought it was a great addition to the cast.
Yes.
I
Temporarily.
mean, and the Jekyll and Hyde story was good, but it ended so fast.
Yeah, it
that-
did.
And we even talked about that too. That was kind of anticlimactic. Talking about anticlimactic, what about
What are
what
we
were your
talking about?
thoughts of Rumple destroying Black Fairy?
I was excited. I was like, this girl has been around for too long. She keeps messing things up. She always giggles and poofs herself away. I'm like, it's about time that this girl dies. And I was happy. I was
Were you?
fulfilled in that moment.
Yeah, and I honestly, it was bothering me too that in the beginning of this episode we see Rumple be so angry that like he's not with Belle, and it was like, well, maybe if you would have just like crushed her heart when you had the chance, none of this would be happening, and you would be with Belle. So it was just kind of like I was glad that he finally like was able to cut those ties of
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
I mean, I understand he wanted hope and he wanted his family, but like that wasn't the right way of going about having his family. So I thought it was like invigorating to finally see Rumple stand up for somebody other than himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was doing that even though he has like thoughts and feelings for his mother, like he was doing it for like the overall
For
picture. And
Gideon,
yeah,
for Belle.
exactly.
Now, okay, it's interesting that you think that. We've seen time and time again where Rumple has tried to do like something good, and then he changes to evil.
Yeah.
his evil
Oh,
ways.
all the
He's
time.
always back and forth, back and forth. Do you believe it this time?
I do actually. I didn't think I would. I really did not think I would, because we've seen this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I feel like this, and I was over Rumple and Belle being together. I was like, no, never turning back. And something about this time, I think it was just that he did the greater good, and he was just so adamant about it and really tried, and he thought it didn't work out, and then he ended up getting his happy ending. I thought that was amazing, and I actually believed it, and I was totally fine with them being back together, and I never thought I would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you fine with that, Allie?
I think I'm fine with it only because it's like, all right, fine. That's like one less dramatic thing that like we don't have to focus on, because it was it was so aggravating to know they were back together. They weren't together. Like Belle was forgiving him, then she wasn't forgiving him. So it's kind of nice to know that that is like, it's like set away. They can settle each other's differences. But it is still like, I feel like I have like a bitter taste in my mouth because it's only like we've seen him go back on his words so many times. So it's like, like I want to believe it, I do, and I think like on the floor I'm like, yeah, I believe it, but I'm just like still have that like little bit of like begrudgence in me, like I don't know.
Maybe since it was like the final battle, the final chapter, like the ending of most of the stories, maybe I was like, oh well, it's pretty much the ending, so I'm gonna just believe it and be like, oh okay, yeah, cool.
Really quick, talking about Belle, someone in the chat said, can we talk about those pictures of Belle? It was Orion Moore said, let's talk about Belle's pictures though. And I was like, thank you, because those were terribly photoshopped.
Like, Black Fairy needs to get a better editing software, because I could have done better than that.
I know, in my notes it says clearly photoshopped.
I wrote the same thing.
I died.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. And she was like, yes, she just wanted
They
to
spend
travel the world.
I mean, you couldn't
not
like
with you.
use real photos of Emily DeRaven actually traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It was really funny.
It was great. I thought like they spend so much money on like the freaking beanstalk, but they're not gonna like actually have decent photos.
I don't know. Their budget did not go into photoshopping. I'll just say that.
I don't know, like if we'll get to this, but something about also wait. My brain is literally in so many different places with this episode. Sorry, keep going. I'll think of what I was gonna say.
Well, I think it was. I'm kind of with you, Allie.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not too thrilled that they ended up together.
Yeah.
I did love the music that played underneath their
finally,
dancing.
yeah.
I mean,
my
it was
gosh,
great.
yes.
I mean, hello, Beauty and the Beast. But knowing that like everything that they've been through, and like just this one moment where Rumpel's like, no, I'm gonna whatever he said, but like I was destined to be the savior.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I can believe that.
Right.
But to keep going back to Belle after everything that happened, and especially he tracked her down using that LoJack spell. And then she's running away from him, and then even at the end of it, they still be together. I'm like, no.
She's like, I want to stay.
I'm not thrilled with them being together, knowing how toxic it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is toxic, but I feel like maybe now that they have the chance to, have their son and be able to move on together, and he made the right decision, I feel like that will hopefully let him restart, because he's having a new beginning. So
Yeah, I think that's where I kind of am on the whole like bandwagon of, all right, I think he finally, it will have been with his word, like he'll stick with his word and actually be good this time, because of the fact that good and like evil kind of worked together on this. I feel like it kind of counteracts everything that's happened in the past, and like we said when we saw, it has them have a fresh start.
Right. If it was real life and it was one of my friends and they got back together with someone, I'd be like, are you kidding me? But like in the show, I'm like okay with it.
Yeah, understandable. Actually, thanks to everyone in the live chat. Tim Houlihan actually asked a good question. If they didn't get Gideon back, which we'll definitely get into Gideon and the showdown, but if they didn't get Gideon back, would Belle and Rumpel have ended up together?
Oh,
I don't think
get
so.
the baby back.
Nope. Well,
Would they be together?
I don't know, because it depends on if he would have still made the same decision, like the right decision, because I felt like yes, but then at the same time, if it weren't for the decision of him making the greater good, then no, I don't think so, because I think that's a main key factor of why they're still working it out.
Yeah, a happy beginning, quote unquote.
Yeah. I think if Gideon wouldn't have been like brought back, I think that they still would have been together, only because like maybe in my mind it's in terms of writing, but like we couldn't see Belle with anyone else. We couldn't see Gold with anybody else, or Rumpel with anybody else. So it's kind of hard. I don't know if it would have been convincing to the audience for them to like re-fall in love with any other person. So
and it's like they strung this along for so many seasons. Like if they ended up not together, it'd be like, what was the point of all of this?
Yeah.
So I get why they put them back together.
And we know that Robert Carlyle is back for next season, but Emily DeRaven isn't.
I
So
know.
why put them together if we're not going to physically see them next season anyway?
Oh,
Yeah.
Belle's back at the house, and I'll be like, okay,
No, I just think
Yeah.
that was
taking care of the baby.
I hate when they do that kind of stuff where you know that person's you're never gonna see them again, but they like make it.
Make it sound like they're just chilling
Yeah.
at the house. I know,
Yeah.
and that's going to be a lot of chilling at the house next season. Let me tell you that.
Or, well, we don't know exactly where they go
Yeah.
next season. But, I mean, that's up to the writing.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why I had so many questions still by the end of this episode, because I'm like, but wait, now that we know so many things that's going to happen next season with the people that aren't going to be there, like, what will that mean? Where would these stories lie?
Where will
Are we
they
supposed to
go?
accept them as if they're like, it's like a closed chapter?
I guess. Ooh, I like what you did there. Closed chapter, book.
Maybe.
Cool.
Maybe. Let's talk about, let's bring it back to Emma, because obviously she's the big part of this whole episode. Emma, when she's in the insane asylum, and every time Fiona talks to her, like, did you notice all the oblique angles? Like, something obviously is off. But what did you think of this interaction? How cold Fiona was, and how, not really naive, but just how unaware that Emma was in this situation.
I thought that the Fiona did a great job. Like, she freaking had her convinced. Like, she was evil. Like, she's been one of the most evil people, and I think the reason that I think she's so good at it is because she does it all with a smile and a little giggle.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that sets it off for me. Like, you can be evil and like slaughter everyone, and I'll be like, wow, they're evil. But if you do what you do and then have a little smile and a giggle, I'm like, oh shoot, like.
Yeah, she just frustrated me this whole because she just was so maniacal and doing things to just
Calculated.
manipulate everybody, and she was just so evil about everything, like pushing Henry down the stairs.
Okay.
That was not okay. That was
That was
not
a lot.
okay.
That was
Pushing
a lot.
anyone down the stairs is actually not okay.
But
No.
he recovered from that like real quick though.
And
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, like his arm was in a sling, and then he takes it off like nothing
Okay,
happened.
and let's talk. Remember whenever he was like trying to get out of the bed to like stop his mom from burning the book? And he's like, oh,
Right, it's like,
and then later on he's like takes it off. I'm like, this.
yeah.
Now I'm wondering if maybe it was like
how
a
injured are
fake
you?
to make her think that he was more hurt than he was, and then. But yeah, I was kind of like, I'm like,
just
oh,
like-
so Henry's not hurt anymore. But I was
know.
wondering maybe that he was just trying to make her feel like he was weaker, so then she could feel like she got a step ahead.
I mean, I don't know. That was crazy. I feel like if Henry would have been okay, he would have jumped up out of that bed and ran after her.
Yeah,
But he
so-
decided to wince in pain and stay in the bed.
I know something that I do keep forgetting about that people are bringing up in the chat is that Danielle in the chat said hurting her own great grandson like that was beyond wrong, and it's true. It is. He is part of her family.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so true.
It's her great grandson. So why would you like feel okay doing that? Like she
I
just
know.
truly doesn't care about anybody but herself.
And I love the reasoning behind it. She was like, obviously, Emma, he's just flinging himself downstairs and hurting himself to get your attention. I'm like,
I
who
don't
does
think
that?
so.
without magic.
Yeah, and like
And he's like, I'm gonna fling
the
myself
way
downstairs.
the way that he fell was like not like he did it on like that was a rough fall. If anybody would do that on purpose, like that's not okay.
Literally, like in the camera, the security camera, he's just standing there and he's like, oh, like, it was just great.
Just tumbles down the stairs.
Yeah, the best.
I think it was believable enough for Emma to be concerned, I guess, but it really didn't end up doing anything. at the
No,
end.
Yeah,
because she
no.
was like, I'm ready to leave.
Because
like,
it wasn't. Are you okay? Okay, so are you okay with Emma not being the one killing the Black Fairy and it was Rumple?
I
Rumple
was
killing
fine
his
with
mother
it.
on Mother's Day, no less. Happy Mother's Day,
oh my
everybody.
gosh.
That is terrible.
On Mother's Day. Wow, I didn't think of that. I was totally fine with Rumple being the one because I feel like, she's affected everyone's life, but it's, Rumple should have ended it before. But he didn't, so maybe him doing it this time, it made it a little bit, like, better in my eyes that he was the one that did it.
Yeah, it was more like Rumple, Black Fairy's fight rather
Right.
than Emma.
And it was
Black
like he
Fairy.
cleaned up his mess that he should have taken care of earlier.
And I think it was one of those. I think he also had to be him, only because he was basically sacrificing something that was true and dear to his heart because he always had those questions about his mother.
Yeah.
So I think it was just that it was almost a sign of heroism in his eyes because he was trying to protect all of his loved ones from getting hurt.
Yeah. I can see that
Yeah.
for sure.
But it's still a weird thing that
It
like
was
it's
weird.
his mom, and like even though it's like they're all family, she's connected to the family. It's still like a messed up situation to
know.
be in.
They had to
Like-
do it though because I feel like with all these characters, they find their way back. They're like, oh well, I'll let you off, and I'm gonna send you to another realm. People can jump realms like
That's
nobody's
actually
business.
a good point
So
because
they had to end it.
I feel like, well, I guess with who was the, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Who was in love with Zelina?
Oh, Hades.
Hercules?
Hades.
Or no,
So
Hercules.
yeah,
Hercules.
so but Hades is the only other like really evil person that's actually like died, right? Or because he just went
yeah.
into sand or like
Hades is gone.
yeah, but like I think
Thanks to that wand,
right.
Hades is like done.
But that's like this is the only time that they've actually been done because that's like Zelina. Everybody thought she was done, but then she came
But
back.
didn't they kill the Snow Queen? Remember the girl who came in who was like Elsa and Anna's sister or something?
Oh yeah.
Did she die? I
The-
felt like she died.
Yeah, she did.
Did she?
The sister died.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sister died.
But she didn't
I
die?
was like, wow, season 4 already.
No,
So
now I'm
much
like
has
literally
happened
racking my
since.
brain. Sorry, I totally opened up a.
We opened up a can of worms.
Yeah.
Like her name Helena or something.
Something like
Helena.
that. I liked her.
think.
She's a great actress.
Yeah, she's great. Yes, bringing it
Sorry.
back.
Bring it on
Like
back.
I don't know where we're going now. Bringing it back. Let's talk about people and sacrifices and doing things for your loved ones. What were your thoughts on Hook during all this? In the Enchanted Forest, climbing up a beanstalk. His whole speech
know.
about Emma and being in love.
I was like, this is great. I love the speech, but can we do it while we're climbing the beanstalk? Because you're wasting precious time. He's like,
He's frustrated. He
I know,
can't
he's
climb a beanstalk while he's like professing his love to his.
oh, Miss
Emma's
Emma,
father.
this is the beanstalk we fell in love at. I was like, just
I-
climb the beanstalk.
I thought it was really great because he was finally being the one to like knock them out of there. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is Emma we're talking about. We have to save her.
Yeah.
I thought that was great because usually that is Charming and Snow, and this time they were trying to stop him, which is kind of shocking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it was great to just kind of see how much he truly does love her and how much he's changed, and it was kind of nice for that speech that he had because it is true. When they first met, he had such ill intentions, and so we've seen a total change of who Hook is.
yeah.
I remember like season 2 when we first talked about it. We were like, "Who is this Hook guy?"
Yeah.
He's just like a nuisance for Emma. Lo and behold, they actually end up being married, and 4 seasons later, like never saw that
Right.
coming. But I did like his speech. It's like we made each other better. We fought for our love and we won. Like you, of all people, should know that. I really like that. And then our story began on this beanstalk, and I'll be damned if it ends there too.
That was
Like,
amazing.
All right, Hook.
was all right.
I was just trying to think of what would Tiana think if she was here talking about it, because
I
I know
know.
she would have loved
Yeah.
this whole scene.
I really-
this is like all a Hooker for life.
I know. I really loved the part where they were just like up in there, and Hook's like, I need to be the one that does it, and Charming's like, cool, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
like, love that.
I didn't like it, David's argument. It was like, you can't climb up there with one hand. I was like, dude, he just climbed a beanstalk. He can climb some furniture.
Oh my gosh,
Kidding
that's
me?
so true. You can't climb. Yes, I can. I
I'm like-
freaking climbed a beanstalk, boo.
Literally, you just climbed 1,000-foot beanstalk.
That's
In
funny.
like less than 5 minutes.
Right?
My goodness.
All before the their realm came crashing or almost crashing down.
I know.
But even like the magical bean didn't even play anything. Which I think it was just like another scene for Hook and
Charming
to be together.
They
That
were
is
trying
true.
to activate it.
I thought
Yeah.
what was going to happen is I thought he was going to throw when they were falling. I thought he was going to throw it and then they fall into the realm.
That would have been cool.
That's what I was
Oh
expecting.
my gosh, that would have been really cool.
Well, I know like Regina, like because the magic is depleting from that world, she
Right.
tried to like pretty much spark it.
Yeah.
Like ignite it in some way, but it really didn't do anything.
No.
I know.
It
So
it was kind of just like all of that climbing.
It was very arbitrary.
All of that
Yeah.
for
It's very-
nothing.
Yeah, no, and that's where I feel like some things kind of tied up and some things were not needed.
Yeah, definitely. Ivan Soto in the chat actually said Hook calling Mary Margaret mommy. I was like, yes.
Yes.
When he said mommy or like, hi mom, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I know,
And
I-
I was like, wait, I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah, and
She's
they're
like,
like,
that's weird.
explain.
I
It's
know.
like,
And-
oh, we just got married.
yeah, there was a wedding.
There was a
Yeah.
wedding.
Right before we got poofed into this world.
I liked it. Some levity in this episode, which I I felt like this episode was more lighter than it was dark.
I agree. It wasn't as, like, because usually I'm like I am clenching my fists most of the time, like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And there was only a couple of moments like that, but most of it was very fluid and just trying to find, like, it was very light.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more of the mind game than so, like, fighting battles and scariness.
I did like that, because usually it is, like, battles, fighting, scary, and I did like how it was a little bit, like, more laid back, but
Totally.
we did get that action, and we did get the whole, almost dying thing, it was cool.
Yeah, what did you think of the almost dying part?
Which one?
All the fog coming in,
Yes.
and then they're all just, everyone in the Enchanted Forest just huddled together, thinking
I
that they're
love
gonna die.
that they were on this, like, column or whatever.
Like, the world is literally collapsing around them.
I just, I mean, oh wait, they did use the bean then, right? Because they...
Well, she was trying to ignite it, but...
No, because they that's how they got back, right? Because they were on that column thing, and then they had to get back to Storybrooke somehow, so I think they used it. Since they were, like, their lives were saved temporarily, and so they're like, all right, let's use the bean and get back. Because remember, they came back to Storybrooke, so I think they did use it. They just didn't really...
They might have. Let us know, you guys.
'Cause they just didn't
Everything
show
was
that part.
happening
So
so fast.
fast.
So I don't know, because once the curse broke, that they were immediately, like, transported back.
Or
Yeah.
if they did use the
But,
bean. I get what you mean.
they did actually use
Okay.
the bean.
Yeah.
They could have done either way.
They're saying in the chat that they didn't use
They
the
didn't
bean.
use the bean.
And
Well,
then
they still have a nice bean to use for next season.
Exactly.
And then Dream to Inspire said, I think the Bean plot storyline was just to play homage to Captain Swan meeting,
Yeah.
showing Captain Charming bromance and showing how much Hook loves Emma. That's true. I
That's
guess it was
true.
just like
bring it back to where it started.
right.
We could have
Right.
made that whole thing maybe like a 2-minute thing instead of like a...
Yeah, they said the spell was lifted, so it wasn't the bean.
Okay.
Yeah,
they used.
the curse was broken and they got transported back. That's what I thought. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
for
thank you.
clarifying that. Yeah, I can understand bringing it full circle, literally, coming back to where it started. I enjoyed it. It was sweet. I felt bad for Hook, though, during all this.
No, totally, because they finally, and the way he explained them, like, loving, like, their love and how it wasn't easy, they had to fight for it, it was just kind of like, you guys have had to fight so many different battles in order to make sure this wedding happens. They literally had to go to the underworld to get him back, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they've been through so much. So it would have been so frustrating if we wouldn't have seen them back together by the end of this episode,
Yeah.
because they deserve it. Like, out of any couple, I feel like they deserve it the most. Especially Emma, because she's been through so much loss.
Yeah.
Through, like, I feel like throughout anybody, like, she's lost the most people along the way.
Yeah, Neil, that was sad.
Yeah.
And like all these people, the list goes on and on. We won't get into it. But let's talk about the actual showdown, shall we?
Yes.
I think we have come to that point when it's between. It's not the Black Fairy, it's Gideon, because only light can snuff out light. Like, did you expect it to be the showdown between those two?
Well, only because of, like, they talked about it so much that it had to be him.
I was like, okay.
So it kind of was like, I couldn't expect it to be anybody else.
But there wasn't
But
a
the
hood.
part that, like, the fact that Gideon's actually a good person, and he's still fighting Emma,
Yeah.
who's a good person.
I think they used. Remember the guy in the dream was always in a hood, so I guess that they just decided, oh well, that was just basically like a vision, so they're not gonna be in the same kind of clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
And they didn't know yet who was gonna be behind the hood, so
Right.
he was like, I don't need to do the hood. You know who I am.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But that was really intense, and I just love how like like you could tell that they were in a really bad predicament, because if one of them killed the other, like they would be canceling each other out, and it would just be awful. So I don't know. I was whenever she like threw the sword down, I was like, shoot, like she's not coming back next season. Like she's gonna die right now.
I kind of thought the same thing.
And I almost cried. Like I literally teared up. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is it.
Happening.
What did you think of what she was saying during this sword fight? That the whole, I'm fighting for the people I love. Ultimately, I am a hero. I am hope. I am light. And light cannot destroy darkness. It can only create more light. I will not kill innocence. I will do what all saviors must. I will give hope no matter what the cost.
I honestly, though she didn't have a sword at this point, I thought that, like, I didn't think she was gonna die. Like, I didn't think that Gideon was actually going to, like, kill her or stab her. And it was kind of confusing the way that they cut it, because you saw him saying, you saw Rumple talking to the heart before you know what I mean? So I thought that it was gonna stop him before it all happened. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like going back and forth in my mind, but I thought that what she was saying was awesome, and I was just like, there's no way Emma can get like she can't be stabbed. Like I
Yeah.
didn't think that was gonna happen.
I know. She didn't even have like a stab wound. It was all just like magic.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. So I like the fact that she got stabbed, as dark as that sounds.
Whoa.
I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
Because I kind of predicted that Emma would die she would sacrifice herself to save the world. In a way,
Right.
she did. Very
Yeah.
Harry Potter like esque.
I think that people are saying that in the chat. Yeah. It was very.
Like he, when Harry Potter goes to the forest and like offers himself to Voldemort, but you're like, oh, I should be dead, but like, no, I just took the darkness out of you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she was alive though. We had all that light emit from her, so I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. No.
know.
It was kind of like I don't know what the point of that was. Like I don't know if it was like that means it took away her magic. You know what I mean? I just was trying to figure that out, but I don't think it really meant anything.
Yeah.
I think it was just like the maybe it was like this, like it breaking the curse because good and evil had like worked together on this one, so maybe that was like the symbolism.
And like for
Maybe.
a split second, it kind of did work out in the Black Fairy's favor because he did like kill her temporarily, which means it makes me think that maybe Rumple's son Bellfire might be able to come back next season, if that makes sense. You remember how like if Gideon would have killed Emma, the possibility of being able to have Bellfire back.
Right.
But since it kind of canceled out and like we got her back and everything was fine, maybe that's not happening. But I was like, that would be interesting to be able to have Bellfire back next season.
That would
People are
be-
saying, "Don't worry, Allie. No one understood that too."
I'm like, okay, good. I'm not the
Well,
only
like,
one.
I'm questioning the same thing too. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so she got stabbed. A bunch of light came out, and then it broke the prophecy. I guess.
Yeah, I
That's
think
all
that,
I can
I guess that's
justify.
what. And then someone also was saying how when Gideon's heart went like pale and it didn't have like the true light anymore, it was kind of like, well, what did that do?
I
You know
know,
what I mean? I was like, does that mean that Gideon dies? That's what I was thinking.
I don't know.
Maybe he was just like he was not in existence at that point because he was transferring himself to baby Gideon.
Oh, maybe.
We were like
That is very intricate of a thought,
don't
but that
know.
could make sense.
Could
The
happen.
whole light emitting seemed like a full reset on everything that was done wrong.
It was like a reset button.
Where like Emma's alive, the older Gideon is now baby Gideon to have the
Yeah.
happy beginning between Belle and Rumple. I feel things were just reset. a little
Yeah,
bit.
that makes sense. Well, it was funny because when I thought that the paleness of the heart meant Gideon died, I was like, wow, that was a poor thing. Only got to live for like
I
5
know.
years. Like, not even like, it was like maybe a week. Because he like technically like did the fast track of the 28 years
Yeah.
and then it was like a week that he's like been in town. So I was just like, poor guy. But at least now he gets a fresh start and it doesn't have to remember anything about the Black Fairy.
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
was crazy. I thought he was gonna be sacrificed, and I was like, oh man, like he's cool. Like we finally got to know this kid.
Yeah, but also the book was restored too. And the last page says, when good and evil both did the right thing, faith was restored. The final battle was won.
I
And
loved that.
I love how
So I
there's
think
no
it
the
might have
end.
been,
and-
yeah, it might have been the moment where Emma like truly sacrificed herself. She believed she was the true savior. in all
Right.
of this.
I totally too. When Henry kissed her, I was like, "All right, what is up with these kisses saving people? Like, can I get
true
one of
love
those
kiss.
kisses? I need
I
a true
know.
love kiss in my life.
I need one of those to wake me up in the morning.
I know.
Like, because I am having a hard
seriously.
time waking up tomorrow at 7 o'clock, so I need someone to kiss me to wake me up.
We saw 2 true love kisses save people this episode with
she
Charming.
she was watching like, oh my god.
I was like, seriously, again, like how many times can these kisses save people? I mean, it's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. I just find it very entertaining.
I love the twist on the true love's kiss though, because like if you think about it, beginning season 1, this whole episode, both of these episodes completely tie back to season 1.
Yeah.
You had Charming and Snow White at the beginning. Or Charming kissed Snow White, and then this one, it was Snow White that kissed Charming. Oh wait, you found me. I was like, I will always find you.
I know, but
I liked
thought,
that.
I
That
thought
was
she was
sweet.
gonna say that though. She didn't say
I
it.
know she didn't, but it's just
So,
you know,
and what else did you expect?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like,
they
of
always find
course.
each other.
Yeah,
That's, that's
I like
their
how
thing.
they said that.
So we got that twist on the true love, and then we had Henry kiss Emma, because in season 1 it was Emma kiss Henry.
Oh, right.
So like all these unconventional true love
Everybody's
kisses,
just
I
kissing.
quite enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it too. I just was like, seriously? Like, can this happen in real life?
Yeah.
Just like kiss someone and they wake up.
Like, seriously.
Like we need some of that magic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we do. It's like, come on, Once Upon a Time,
Exactly.
rub off on us a little bit. It was nice seeing everyone though. And that. What did you think of that ending montage though?
I loved it, but I was
Loved
like,
it.
I literally wrote down everything is like too good to be true right now. What's gonna go wrong? Something has to go wrong, because I just like, as much as I want to be positive, every
Allie.
season finale it like leaves us with such a like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then I was just like expecting the worst, but I literally loved every moment of it. I wanted more of it.
I know,
Like
I-
I wanted to see them be happy and like not have to fight a battle for like more than 10 minutes.
I like how they switched realms, and you could see like the other like nice evil queen now. She gets a good life, you know, with the
Yeah.
whole like seeing everyone in the different realms like okay and like living their lives. I was like, oh, like
I
some
saw
relief.
that like Arendelle, Neverland, Wonderland, Agrabah, and Enchanted Forest.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was
That
very
felt
well
very
rounded.
Star Wars to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At the end of Return of the Jedi, when they finally destroy the Death Star, once again you see all the different systems celebrate. And
Right.
and it was very Star Wars with this.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I did like that we got to see like basically like all hope was restored and they were living happily ever after. And I will say, had we not known that it would have gotten picked up for season 7, season
Yeah.
7, I would be happy. You know what I mean?
I
what
would have
was
been happy. I
when
would have been like,
when I think about like how this ended, like it actually like did tie up things, like I said, in a nice bow that I was like,
know.
all right, this is great. Like
And-
I loved seeing the happiness.
because now we're like, oh, cool, it's all ended, everything's wrapped up in a nice bow, and then season 7, like no one's gonna be there, and they're gonna like open up storylines again, and like it's not gonna be happy ending because you know they're gonna be fighting somebody, and it's like, oh, like really, like they should have just left it at this. Like I really am a strong believer of they should have left it at this episode, and that would have been it.
Yeah,
They
but
should have done it.
I will like. I just feel like it was very heartwarming to me because you were saying like it like gave me goosebumps. Like I had tears in my eyes. Like I was
like
very
holding
happy.
my heart. I was like,
Yeah, I literally was very very happy to see them all together.
I mean, I liked it that montage was just emotionally killing everyone.
Yeah.
Because like now that we know that some people aren't returning, this was their last hurrah together. This was the last supper together.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was
I-
super like the
Very-
Bible.
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, you're at a table. No one all just sits on one side.
I know. I was like,
unless it's
Yeah.
for
girl, I
something
would have been
else.
across. Like,
Yeah, I was like, that's just a weird setup, but we know what it's set up for because we saw the little girl, who we obviously can't talk about. This little girl, she started at the very beginning of the episode,
Yes.
in the middle, and then at the end. At the very, very beginning of the episode, we saw this guy giving the book, the Once Upon a Time book, to her, saying, "Keep it safe."
keep it safe.
And now, going to the end, we find out the big reveal that pretty much the cliffhanger to the next season. Adult Henry, flash forward
It said years later.
years
We
later.
don't even get like a
We
set
don't even
time
know
frame.
how much later, but Henry is probably 28.
What?
He probably is 28, if you think about it.
Well, yeah. Well, actually,
Oh.
Dylan
makes
Zanelli
sense.
in the chat said, "Wait, so when 7th season comes back, which is 10 years ahead, which I don't know if it said
10 years later?
it says 10 years. He said 10 years ahead.
years ahead.
Are we going to have like 12-year-olds Neil, Robin, and Gideon?
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would make sense because then it's like everybody like that is like kind of grown up now in a
The
way.
teenage kids.
Yeah, which is
Maybe.
like
Maybe they could help play a part into it.
Yeah.
Might be getting into predictions.
Yeah,
here.
sorry.
But it just like we don't exactly know how old Henry is now. In
Right.
his young adult, mid-age
Yeah.
life. now.
I'm like,
he has to be like 20s, late 20s.
it's weird though because he looks, I mean, obviously, you know, you don't necessarily look like what you did when you were younger, but it was just weird seeing a face, and whenever he's like, Henry Mills, I was like, hold on. Like,
Honestly,
the Henry Mills, because...
I disagree. I actually, when he opened the doors, like Henry. Like
Really?
Yeah,
he-
Allie was quite surprised. at
Yeah,
that reveal.
I literally was like, Henry! Like, literally, I was shocked because I knew that it was going to be him. And then it kind of, like, also in my head, like, totally connected the dots, like, what we saw at the beginning of the season. I mean, beginning of this episode was Henry, and it kind of was just like a what moment for me.
Yeah.
It was, because we now know that this little girl is Henry's daughter.
Yes.
So first of all, who did Henry hook up with? And then,
I know.
second of all, did you notice the A15 on the apartment door? A15?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. The clock, okay, so when the curse, the final curse was broken, the clock said A15, which we know that's when the whole story started.
Oh.
And then when the little girl goes to Henry at his apartment, his door was A15,
No way.
starting another story.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is great attention to detail, Marissa. Like, that is amazing. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I don't think
Marisa
it'll.
Serafini starts
Yeah.
once again.
I don't think that they're gonna be coming back for season 8. So like, I don't understand
Well, we don't know.
why they would like open up a whole new can of worms only to give it like 22 episodes and then end it. It just seems a little forced.
But we don't know how
Yeah.
they're gonna write it out. But having this reveal of a daughter going up to Henry, who was very much the same beats of how Henry first went up to Emma.
Right.
Like, are you my mom? Blah blah blah. It starts pretty much resets the whole story over, but in a different telling.
Yeah.
Instead of a little kid, a little boy talking, convincing an adult woman, now it's a little girl convincing an adult man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
It is. I'm like, I feel
Are
like
you
my.
okay with this though? Them like pretty much starting over again?
No.
In the same vein?
I mean, I think it's cool. Like, if you are gonna revamp it and start it over again, this is the way you would do it. So, like, power to them. Like, it was great and it played out very nicely, and I like how it was so like paralleled. But I think, like I said, it should have just been like, there's no reason. Like, let's just have the happy endings and move on.
Do you feel that way, Allie?
No, because I love the show and I don't
love
want it to
too.
end.
I love it too, but at a certain point, if we're not gonna get all of our favorite characters back, there's no reason for me. Like, it's not. It shouldn't be called Once Upon a Time next season.
Would you continue watching the show?
I'll
knowing that
continue to
they're not
watch.
coming
I'll continue to watch.
I feel like I'm just so interested to know how they're gonna spin this side of the story and how different it can be. Because obviously they can't do the same storyline because then it wouldn't be as intriguing. You know what I mean? So there's got to be some other vein of what they're going to do with Henry being not. I mean, he's the author, so like it's more maybe convincing. Because someone in the chat I think was saying like, does the author now become the savior? And I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just more so they like whatever happened in that story, like Henry's gonna have to find himself in writing the story the correct way or whatever happened, you know? Because also the book that she had it wasn't
Different.
a full book. It was like something like bits and
Like
pieces.
a handwritten, hand-drawn book. Which,
Definitely.
oh, speaking of which, I don't know how, sorry, I skipped this. When Emma goes back to Boston, she's finally released from the sanitarium. She goes back to Boston, and how Henry somehow crafted up a handwritten book, and got it back to Emma before she even got there. I'm like, first of all, how did you have time to draw all these stories?
First of all,
And then how did you get it to Emma before she even got back to Boston?
Yeah, I thought that she put
magic.
I know. I guess in my head, I felt like she had already had it on the counter.
Yeah.
And so it was in her bag. Like he like put it in her bag.
Oh,
But
you know what?
But yours
Yeah, you're
makes
right.
more sense because it was just on the counter. I just made that.
Right.
I made that imagination up in my head of how it got there.
Well, like my thing was like, how did Henry find the time to draw all these stories and compile them into a book and give it to Emma before? I don't know. I was just thinking too, man, that might be a little bit of a nitpick.
Yeah.
But the fact that the regular Once Upon a Time book isn't really in the reset kind of, I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
But when they restarted the story, it's a hand.
I know, it's gonna be
hand-drawn
different, yeah.
Book. So
That's true.
are they real? Are they memories? If
Yeah, I
they're
don't know.
handcrafted from the girl instead.
Part of me thinks Henry might be brainwashed again because he looked like he was just living his life out and wherever. Like, he seemed very, very like not. He seemed detached. So there's gonna be some kind of storyline there. I
Well,
know
at the
there has to be.
beginning, he was rushing his daughter. Like he was like, take the book and run, basically. And then he was swept up in whatever was going on.
Right, and then they said it was foreseen that you guys would be reunited.
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
makes sense.
And so, which also, Tiger Lily, I thought when we first saw Tiger Lily, I thought we were going to hear more of her story, which I don't know why I thought that, because obviously they couldn't fit that into the season
Not
finale
into
as
this
well.
finale.
But But yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense that maybe Tiger Lily will be another like main proponent of the next season or something.
Maybe she is secretly her mom. I could see it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess it is kind of like who would have Henry like married?
I don't think he married. I think it was more of a hookup.
I don't know.
I didn't see Henry
these
as
are
that kind of
questions
guy,
that have
but
yet to be answered.
Also, really quick, I just want to say when they were all like in I'm jumping back to the montage when they were watching Henry walk on the bus. I was like, isn't Henry in high school now? Like, shouldn't he be?
Oh my
like,
gosh!
Like he was walking on like what looks like an elementary school bus, and I just found that that a little intriguing because we have.
I mean, I went to high school in an elementary school bus.
I mean, what? Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, that was probably me just being nitpicky, but I was just like,
it's
wait,
a yellow bus.
Isn't he like in high school now?
Yellow bus.
Yeah, I don't think yellow buses look different from elementary to high school.
No, but it was like the people getting on it. They were all
I'm
like
kidding.
young kids.
No, I think it was the juxtaposition of Henry being gone off to school, and then we see Snow White going back to school. She's teaching again.
I know,
Yeah.
and I love that scene where like the bird and everything. Like she just is so beautiful, and just to see her back in her element, and like she just seems so graceful. And I loved it. I loved it.
Literally season 1. That's the first scene we see with Snow White.
She just seems so
Other than
happy
her
and
sleeping, but,
fulfilled,
like,
and
her and Mary Margaret's stage. It was when she was teaching.
Yeah,
The birds.
Yeah. Going back to Henry's wife or whoever he may be dating or something, Little Miss Obsessive in the chat said the writers called the mother Henry's wife. And then,
oh, okay.
yeah, so I guess, I don't remember them mentioning wife or anything, but apparently it was mentioned.
I don't know. These are questions that have yet to be answered.
Yeah.
Anything else about these last 2 episodes before we get into news?
I don't, yeah.
Let's hit it.
Yeah, let's do the news. I feel like
Okay.
that's like
That's
what
what
we've
I
been...
wanna talk
Do
about.
news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Because we got hit with some serious news this past week.
Serious.
So we had our musical episode aired on the 7th, and Jennifer Morrison posted on her Instagram literally the next day, Monday, May 8th, the fact that her 6-year contract is up with Once Upon a Time and she will not be returning. But she has agreed to come back for one more episode. We don't know what episode it will be, in the first episode, in the middle.
I feel like it's
finale.
either going to be the first or the last.
I think it's the finale.
Yeah.
They'll get into my predictions.
Yeah.
But this was just the start of everything, because Jennifer Morrison said she wasn't coming back, and then Rebecca Mader
Was not asked
was
about.
next, that she was not coming back, even though she has actually expressed that she wanted to come back. And then
So she just like got cut. Like they were just like creative decision.
They're
They're
doing
like, nope.
creative. They're doing a creative reboot apparently. And then Jared Gilmore was next in line saying that he wasn't coming back, and Josh Dallas, Jennifer Goodwin will not be returning, and also Emily DeRaven. So we lost 6
Everyone.
people.
It was... When I was reading that, I just almost didn't believe it. I was like, no, that can't be true. That can't happen.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, I guess now that we kind of have a sense of what this story could be, it makes sense because now Henry is an adult, so they're not going to really need him his character
As a
anymore
teenager.
as a teenager, and then like it's going to be focused more on getting probably Henry back to his realm, because if we saw the beginning of the episode, it was him in a realm older. So that means that like if he's that old, then that means that the age time when they stopped aging, so maybe we did see, maybe they do age, you know what I mean? So
And we know they do a bunch of flashbacks, so if we ever did need teenage Henry, they could get Jared back.
yeah, totally.
But I feel like the new storylines doesn't need a younger Henry.
No.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, considering we lost most of the cast, I really don't think that they're going to have a lot of flashbacks anymore. That might be another thing in the new whatever this is going to be called.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to do a lot of flashbacks because they don't have the actors.
Yeah, they don't. It's
Yeah.
It was just like an onslaught of everyone that we love.
I know.
I know. Like I just can't even imagine the show without Snow and Charming.
They should have just stopped
know.
while it was.
Well, they were ahead.
Yep.
But like even Emily DeRaven said that she wanted to go deeper with Belle, and she loved her character, and she wanted to come back. And
Wait, they said no to her?
and they told her not. And I'm not saying the exact words, but they asked her not to come back.
Wow.
Because of like just the creative storylines that they're going forward.
Because so
Belle does not fit into their story.
So let's talk about who we do have. So we have
Lana Badia.
Yes.
Regina is coming back. Rumpel's coming back, and Killian Hook is coming back.
But like, how can you have Hook without Emma? We
They just got
finally got them
married.
together.
They finally got married.
So we have 3 characters, right?
Yeah. 3 main characters, and then like the Storybrooke citizens, you know, like Granny, Geppetto. Like
They better not cut Granny.
They'll probably like come in and out like we usually get.
That's where I'm drawing the line.
No, Granny's awesome. But, you know, like the characters that we see every once in a while in Storybrooke, they probably will get peppered through, but our main cast, the majority of our main cast.
I just asked this question, but I'm going to just repeat it again. I really just don't understand how they're going to have Hook in scenes without Emma.
I know. I don't know.
Like, and if they try to, like, show that they broke up in this new season, I'm just going to be like, all right, what's going on?
I know.
They just got together.
If you think about it.
Okay.
If you think about it. Hook, Rumpel, and Regina, because they are like somewhat magical people who've been in different realms, can they really age? Or do they even remember about the past lives? We don't know how the story is going to go. Do they even know what's happening? That they had people in their lives?
I would be so upset, though, because, like, the thing is if this whole next season we're talking about, oh, we lost everyone, we need to get them back. And they're, like, chasing the entire time to get them back when we know they're not coming back. And
that would be kind of frustrating. Well, also with Hook, I could see him, like, I could see them, like, kind of being back in their old selves, you know, before everything changed. Maybe, like, they don't know who they are again. But also, at the same time, like, if they try to make Hook love somebody else, I will be so upset.
I don't think they'll do that.
I really hope not. I really, really hope not.
But then again, we did not think Robin was going to die, so...
Yeah, that's true. I did not see that one coming when that happened.
Not to open up an old wound of Marissa's, but...
Yeah.
It's okay. And knowing that he's engaged to Evil Queen...
They didn't show him, though, did they?
No, but we heard his lovely voice.
So what did they just say?
And
okay.
They're on to a new adventure, being married.
Interesting.
I
So
like
they just
that.
called him in for ADR, like just one liner.
Or yeah,
Or maybe
like,
he was just
probably
like
didn't even have to
recorded on his phone. He's
call
like,
it in.
hey, okay.
Dylan Zanelli in the chat said, but in an interview, the writers kept saying that these actors are not series regulars anymore. So does that mean that the characters can just randomly appear? So I guess if they're not season regulars, then it's just gonna that'll be like flashbacks or like, or just alluding to what happened before Henry aged, kind of thing.
Maybe.
Well, we saw like Snow White and David have their own house on a farm.
I like that.
and,
That was
like,
cute.
They
With a
have
cute
their own
dog.
life now.
Yeah.
But I think it's more so we obviously aren't going to see our main core cast as often anymore. And I think this kind of just leads us into predictions then.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
People are like, oh, Marissa, poor Robin. I was like, I know.
Seriously.
I just love him as
So
an
many.
actor.
I know, he's great.
He's
Sean McGuire.
So great.
So handsome, and I stood right next to him. I'm like, okay, I digress. Predictions. Now that we know the whole creative new reboot and them kind of resetting things a little bit from what they set up to next season, what do you think is going to happen?
I think that Bellfire will be back next season, and I think that it's going to be awkward because he's going to have to work with Hook. And, like, obviously, Emma didn't want Bellfire to die, so it's not like they broke up. Like, he died, and then
she had to
now
move on.
she's moving on. So if they have to work together for the greater good, that's going to be interesting and very catty, I'm sure. So I want that to happen. So that's my biggest prediction.
I think my biggest prediction is that Henry's not like the savior, but it's gonna like she is gonna have to like reintroduce the fact that he was an author and just kind of like do the whole like remembering what had happened thing.
Over it. We always have to remember.
I'm also wondering. I'm just trying to like. I don't know if it was like another curse that had happened. So maybe I'm gonna predict that it wasn't a curse. It was just like. So, I don't know.
Adam and Eddie actually had an interview in Entertainment Weekly today saying that the adult Henry lost his hope and belief in the story. So we don't know if it was a curse or if it was just him personally not believing in these stories anymore.
It's like, dude.
But we know Henry is like the biggest, truest believer out of everyone. something happened for him to not believe in these stories and characters anymore. So
Seriously, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
so
dude,
what happened?
you're the one that's like Mr. Believe, and then you're gonna be the one that like throws in the towel.
Yeah.
And this Lucy girl, we saw her in an enchanted forest back then, or we don't know, but we now know it was like technically a flash forward, because it was the adult Henry, like the grandpa adult Henry, telling Lucy to go protect the book. But my thing is, Lucy can jump realms already, or can she? I don't know. We've seen Lucy in different realms, so who is this Lucy girl?
Yeah. And
Who is Lucy?
And who's the mother?
Yeah,
that's who we want to find out.
Is Lucy really the daughter, or just saying that to get Henry's attention?
What if she's evil? What if she has her own
think she's
intentions?
evil.
Yeah,
What
I
if
think I'm gonna
she's
have
the
a hard
one?
pass
Tiger
on that
Lily
one.
sent her on a mission, and Tiger Lily is pretty awesome, so we can trust Tiger Lily.
You'd think. Yeah. But you never know with this show.
There's just so many like possibilities. I just don't even know if I like can predict anything right now, just because I feel like my brain after that season finale too has so many things going through it.
Yeah, I don't have any predictions because there's just so many questions. Like we don't know, because we don't know how they're gonna write it out.
Right.
We'll see.
Especially with the characters, most of them being gone.
Which is like
We got a full
mind-boggling.
22 season 7, 22 episode count, so it's gonna be a long season. So this is what I'm predicting.
Okay.
I'm predicting because of, if season 7 is going to reflect anything that happened in season 1, we were going to have little Lucy try to convince Henry, take him back to Storybrooke, go through all the same beats, X, Y, and Z, this person's this person, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe something happens where at the end is where we see adult Henry start believing again. And then once he believes, this will be the finale, you guys. I'm already predicting the finale. Once he believes, that's when we get all the characters back for their one episode appearance.
I think we only get. I think only Emma is gonna be back for one. We don't know if the others will show up at all or not, but she's the only one who's promised one more.
But it would make sense if that was in the finale, and like he finally truly believed, and Henry got his older mother, or like his mom, back. That could be Jennifer Morrison's one episode appearance. And
because it wouldn't make
just could be back together.
I feel like it's gonna be exactly what we saw tonight. You know, like the next finale is gonna be exactly what we saw tonight.
Yeah, well, I feel like all of next season, season 7, will be the same beats as season 1.
Yeah, just like a different plot line.
In like different faces, but the same.
Or maybe
beats.
there's no Storybrooke. Like maybe it's a different town now.
Maybe.
Or a different location. Maybe we're not in Maine. Maybe we're in California. Who knows?
Oh, hey, that'd be cool.
You know, but like I feel like it's gonna, if they're going to reset everything, probably go that way.
Interesting.
I could be very wrong.
No, but
Who
so many
knows?
possibilities. They're endless.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Craziness.
Well, it's been a great season.
It has.
Talking about this show once again. Thank you to you two. You both joined kind of late in the season.
On the season, yeah.
Thank you guys so much
fun.
for having us.
Thanks for following us, all you people in the live chat, tweeting at us all season long. You guys have been great, giving us your theories and predictions and all that fun stuff. In the meantime, where can everyone keep following us?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Nasta and on Instagram at AllieGirl. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a pleasure talking about one of our favorite shows, Once Upon a Time.
Yes, you guys, thank you so much. It means a lot to us. All your comments, everything. We love you guys. You can find me everywhere at Mr. Dakota T Jones and my new talk show, Millennial Hollywood, on AfterBuzz TV's Popcorn Talk Network.
And you can follow me on Twitter everywhere at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. You can follow Tiana at the Tiana Hobson. And you guys should definitely check out Karen David's Operation Princess campaign. I have
Occupation.
Occupation, yeah. Sorry, I'm like multitasking. Occupation Princess. You guys. That was fun. Thanks everyone for tuning in all season long. You guys have been great, and we hope to see you back for season 7. Have a great
Maybe.
summer.
We'll see.
We will see you next season.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.